What if I make a mistake? I don't want to let my team down. What if I don't catch this? Coach is going to take me out. One mistake and the season's over. Everyone's watching. That's a lot of pressure, right? Now picture this. You're standing on a football field on a Friday night under shining lights in front of packed bleachers. Your friends, your parents, your coaches, all there to watch. That's a lot of pressure, right? Now for them, it's just a game, giving them something to do with their evening. But for you, it's so much more. Many students spend their high school athletic careers chasing perfection because for most this is all they have, since only an estimated 6% go on to compete in college. Every play, every drill, every sprint at practice becomes a test, not just of skill, but of worth. Because when you're a student athlete, your identity can start to feel like it depends on your performance. Trust me, I know. After being an insecure athlete for 10 years in both lacrosse and volleyball, I started to feel like I was nothing when I underperformed. But it's not just about winning games. You've got grades to maintain, expectations to meet, and scholarships to fight for. You wake up early just to stay up late while you juggle assignments, workouts, and practices. It's all exhausting, but quitting isn't an option because someone's always waiting to take your spot. That's the culture we've created. It's competitive, keeps you on your toes, and makes you disciplined. And that's a good thing. But to what extent? To what extent are student athletes expected to spread themselves so thin that they can barely keep up? We've created a culture that glorifies the grind, that tells us rest is weakness and stress is a badge of honor. But what if we changed that conversation? What if we told student athletes it's okay to ask for help? It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to be human. Somewhere along the way, we as a society have discouraged vulnerability in sports to the point where many students are too afraid to ask for help or tell someone that they're struggling, even if it's just their parents. And if they are brave enough to speak up, it's usually an uncomfortable conversation and they feel embarrassed. This has forced many student athletes to ignore their feelings and emotions, pushing them down and walking away. That's the stigma we've created. Kids are scared to speak up and they think whatever they're feeling is invalid. Charlie Health reports that as many as half of elite athletes, 51.7% on average, struggle with mental health problems at some point in their lives, according to a 2020 study. Among these struggles, anxiety and depression symptoms are among the most common, this study and others like it found. The high demands that athletes face, whether it's physical, mental, or trying to create a balance, can have an overall significant declining effect. These struggles often lead to emotional exhaustion, burnout, and decreased performance, not because of laziness, but because they are being stretched beyond their limits. Recognizing these struggles is not about making excuses. It's about understanding the real and measurable impact of mental strain and the urgent need for support systems on and off the field to help athletes thrive. When we were kids, many of us were put into sports by our parents. Whether it was soccer, basketball, lacrosse, or all of the above, we were involved in sports from a young age. Then, it was just for fun, and something we could do to burn off all our little kid energy. But as we got older, and certain people developed passions for certain sports, it became more than just for fun. We became competitive, determined, and driven to be the best athletes we could be. Whether we were the strongest, the fastest, or the smartest, we wanted to reach our fullest potential. But with that drive came mounting pressure. Pressure to constantly perform, to win, to never show weakness. McLean Hospital explains that athletes often operate under intense pressure. They face unrealistic expectations from coaches, fans, teammates, and even themselves. The relentless pursuit of perfection can take a toll on their well-being. What once was a source of joy transformed into a high-stakes environment, where mistakes felt like failures and resting feels like falling behind. Student athletes are often expected to maintain peak physical performance, excel academically, and uphold social expectations, all while sacrificing their sleep and free time. These unrealistic expectations can create a toxic cycle where athletes feel they need to hide their struggles to appear stronger, ultimately pushing them closer to burnout. One story I want to point out in particular is that of Morgan Rogers. Morgan was an incredible athlete who had a dream of playing lacrosse at the highest level. That dream came true for her in 2014 at the beginning of her senior year when she accepted her offer to play Division I lacrosse at Duke University. Morgan was one of three. She had a twin sister, a brother, and two loving parents. She was a passionate person and put everything she had into every person she met and everything she had to do. In the classroom, she never stopped asking questions to fill her limitless curiosity. On the field, she was beyond talented and driven. And to her friends, she was one of the most loyal people they had ever met. She was also very talented artistically and had a notebook where she kept all of her drawings, and she danced wherever music was playing. During her senior year, she started to have high levels of anxiety, but she was provided with endless support and professional help that was beneficial for her at the time. Despite these challenges, Morgan remained her strong, bubbly self and was still positive about her future at Duke. In 2017, she endured a life-changing knee injury right before the start of her sophomore season. Despite these challenges, she put on a happy face for those around her and did everything she could to get herself back on the field for the next year. With struggling to adjust to this sudden change, Morgan felt like she lost control of her life and her self-worth rapidly declined. She put on a happy face for those around her, but grappled with the feelings of not living up to her own expectations. With the stress building up from her knee injury, other relationship issues, and isolation from her team, came the return of her anxiety and depression. This time, Morgan chose to battle her mental health in silence, leaving her family and friends in the dark. Morgan died by suicide on July 11, 2019, when she was only 22. Yesterday, she would have turned 28. Morgan's message was created to honor the legacy of Morgan Rogers, projecting her story and giving athletes a safe place to share their own, telling and encouraging them it's okay to ask for help both physically and mentally. This platform is elevating the conversation around athletes' mental health, breaking down the stigma that surrounds it. By fostering a supportive community and encouraging open dialogue, Morgan's message empowers athletes to seek the help that they need and prioritize their well-being, reminding them that they are never alone in their struggles. Although you may not realize it, this foundation is everywhere. People have the opportunity to apply to become ambassadors to further share this message. Myself, along with others at Brewster High School, are involved in this movement. People are trying to make a difference everywhere to prevent more stories like Morgan's, and it's finally starting to show. The NCAA did a research study to see the mental health support at collegiate levels. Although the results are not the best they could be, they're better than they've been in the past and are continuing to climb. They were asked about the resources on their campus, as well as within their athletic department, among other things. Student athletes are often praised for their strength, resilience, and dedication, but beneath the surface, many are silently struggling. They carry the weight of expectation, the pressure to perform, and the fear of falling short, both on the field and in the classroom. It's time we stop treating mental health like an afterthought in athletics. Just like a pulled muscle or a broken bone, they deserve care and attention. Because strength isn't just physical. It's not all about speed, stamina, or grit. It's emotional. It's mental. It's the courage to be vulnerable and open. So to every student athlete out there carrying the weight of expectation, take a breath. You are enough, even when the crowd goes quiet. That's a message worth more than any trophy. Thank you.